Vinyasa and camel. Inhale, take your right hand to the mat and sweep your left hand up over your head, palm facing up. Breathing into the stretch you feel along your left side. And then switching sides, breathing into our right side, really opening our chest out to the ceiling. Come back to center, take your arms wide. Take your right arm up towards the sky and send your left arm behind you. See if your hands will meet behind your back. If they don't, just hold onto your shirt. Work on your top elbow, pushing up towards the sky, keeping our neck straight, our spine straight. And then switching sides. Notice if you feel any difference between the two sides. We naturally have an imbalance to our bodies, so it's good for us to know what's tight and what is looser, so we know what to work on in the future. Scoot onto all fours. Inhale, dip your belly, raise your head up towards the sky. Exhale, tucking our tailbone, our back arches, pushing away from the floor with our hands as our head bows. Inhale, belly dips, head rises. And exhale, tucking your tailbone. Your head dips, your hands push away from the floor. Sink back into a child's pose, stretching your hands forward, bringing a nice stretch to our shoulders. Then let's cupcake our fingers just to change the stretching sensation that we're feeling. Really trying to wake up our shoulders here. Taking our arms out parallel to the side with cupcake fingers. And then returning to normal child's pose, pushing up into a downward facing dog, keeping our knees bent at first to really stretch our spine. Rolling over to high plank, pushing away from the ground with our hands, lifting our right leg off the mat and pulsing gently back and forth, really small movements, not swinging our leg wildly, pushing into downward facing dog. Once again, rolling over to high plank, shoulders over wrists, and this time let's pulse our left leg. Rolling right down, chaturanga, all the way to the floor, keeping elbows close to your ribs. Inhale, lift to cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, push yourself into downward facing dog. Inhale, roll over to plank, and then sweep your right arm out to the side in high plank. If you'd like to, you can lift your top leg into a tree pose, or you can keep both feet on the ground, depending on how your balance is feeling this morning. Then take your hand back to the mat, send your left leg forward, and lift into a high lunge. Take your left hand to the inside of your foot and swoop your right arm out, opening out to the side. Really spinning your bottom ribs towards your top ribs to try and open your chest out to the side. Switch hands, rotating, spinning out to the left side. Taking both hands down to frame our feet, pushing back into downward facing dog. Bending our knees to really stretch our spine. Inhale, roll over to high plank. Exhale, all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming to side plank on the other side, sweeping our right arm up. If we feel comfortable, lifting our top leg into our tree pose. Feel free to skip this step if you don't have enough balance. Then taking our top leg and hand back down to the mat, raising our arms into a low lunge on the other side. Taking our right hand to the inside of our foot, sweeping our left hand out to the side, opening our chest up to the sky. feeling the opening in our right hip as we spin to the side. Then switching hands and revolving our twist. Take both hands down to frame your feet, push yourself back into downward facing dog, really bending our legs again, rolling over to high plank, all the way down chaturanga. Inhale to cobra, drawing your heart towards the front of the mat, and exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, roll over to high plank. This time let's lift one arm off the mat, holding on to the opposite shoulder, holding our core to keep us steady. Pushing back into a downward facing dog. Coming forward, dropping to our knees, tucking our toes, and sitting back on our heels for a moment just to stretch the bottom of our feet. Leaning back to increase the pressure we feel across the bottom of our feet. Now coming to camel pose, let's take our hands to support our lower back. Inhale, and on an exhale, let yourself shift your weight backwards. Come forward again, take a breath, and do the same again. Come back up straight. Now, if you'd like to, you can reach your hands behind you and send your neck back, pushing your hips forward to help create this back bend. So really pushing your pelvis forward, pushing your thighs forward, and allowing your body to melt backwards. Using our hands to gently bring us back up to standing, and then resting our heels, our bum on our heels, spinning out in a side twist, just to release the muscles on either side of our spine, and then finally sinking into a child's pose. Important that we don't quickly move from camel to child's pose. We don't want to be flipping our back forward and back without a little break with some twists in between.